Welcome everyone to the follow-up to our post-pandemic conversation we had a couple months ago. This is Amy Jaluko and Jana Millman-Malice speaking to you live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And we're so happy to be here once again. I think our lighting is better this time, and we're really enjoying ourselves being in and seeing in a new light. So what I thought I would do is, again, just ask Jana and myself some questions about how we've been handling what I call the new normal that we're all talking about since the pandemic has occurred, and how have these somewhat restrictive activities affected our lives for the better or for the worse, and how we can learn from our experiences things that we can put into place for the future that might be helpful in general. So I'm going to say that my personal life has changed quite a bit since the pandemic. I've learned how to take care of myself better and take care of my environment a little better. I've been alone a lot more, so I've had a lot more time to think about a lot of things, including, my future, including the world's future, including how to deal with health, how to deal with wealth, and all kinds of things. So wearing masks, social distancing, social isolation, restricted movements, virtual contact, those are the major, I think, issues that are involved here at this time for people, as well as those who have lost jobs or have lost money or trying to recreate a new job. This is also, I think, on people's minds. In my case,
Absolutely.
I don't have to worry about that, fortunately. I have an income from my husband's rental properties, which I'm still working with in Camden. And interestingly enough, Camden, since the pandemic, has gotten cleaner and quieter. And the people who are my tenants seem to all have jobs. Like, it's miraculous.
That's amazing.
I don't know why that has happened, but I'm thankful for those blessings. So that's just an initial thing. I've noticed that in the environment around me that's quieter. There's still less cars than before. It seems as if there's a lot less businesses open, and what businesses are opening, they're very anxious to do a lot of business. So people seem to want to promote restaurants locally, to make sure they stay in business. So I've gone to a couple restaurants lately who have opened up, and it's nice in there. There are actually less tables, and so you have more space, and it seems actually a nicer place to be. So I always like to look at the positive about things that are happening, from this major global occurrence. So
I think the food was going downhill when you just pick it up. And I think it takes the people making it in the restaurant with people being there for it to really be at its height. And I think that was something that we were, because I noticed we didn't order out much, but anytime we did, it was never at the quality.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was almost like, in Indian Hinduism, when they bless the food, it's called prasadam. It's blessed with love and this and that.
Yeah.
And the food just had no love to it, no blessing to it, no anything. It was just devoid. It was like shove the food together, and but I think it's improving now that we're there in person. So
yeah, it gives them hope or inspiration that they're still going to be there, and so it's very interesting.
They're more motivated, I think.
Yeah, how thoughts actually do affect the food quality.
Absolutely,
everything affects the quality of your eating.
Like if you have a loving grandmother in her 80s or something making food, who loves what she does, you're going to feel that love from the food. And it's going to be better.
Yeah. That reminds me of a video I saw, I think it was on the Japanese channel, NHK, where there was a woman chef who wanted to recreate the recipes that people's grandmothers had made of, from, and it brought back those memories for them when they ate it. So she went about researching people's families' recipes and making it exactly the way they remembered it, and people just would start crying when they ate her food. It was pretty amazing how so much of that memory came back from the taste of the food. So it's pretty fascinating.
Well, a good friend of mine whose wife died, but precociously or with a premonition, put out a cookbook for her family, and her daughter's following in her footsteps, and thank God has the recipes, and because it's always it's usually a grandmother that dies, and now you've lost the recipes, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, of course, everything's online now, so anything you want at all, and you can
Mm-hmm.
watch how it's made on YouTube.
That's true.
So,
yeah,
which is a real benefit, and it's really flourishing during this pandemic.
yeah, that's one of the perks of the pandemic. It's like
people learning to cook.
learning to cook again. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, a lot of time over the sink, cutting up vegetables.
That's great.
I've learned how to make Irish soda bread, which I'm very proud of because it's really good. It's very tasty.
Great. Okay.
It's easy to make, folks, too. And so that's a good thing about
and we're getting a CSA, you know, the farm package where you get the vegetables and all that. And every other week, one of my daughters got it for me, and another one delivers it. And it's like, wow, here's the surprise.
Yeah.
Look at all the vegetables that you can cook and make things with.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I have a community garden, so I'm doing that now, picking up some vegetables there.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And the abundance is going to be flowing in, folks, soon enough, because the tomatoes are almost, ready to pick, and cucumbers are now almost ready to go, and the zucchinis are getting huge.
Oh, love that.
So that is pretty exciting to do that sort of thing. So
and the whole thing is, what we're saying is all very positive, because amidst all of this pandemic, there are all these positive things.
Yeah, which is quite interesting. I think there's always, what is it? The cloud has a silver lining in every cloud.
Yeah, the silver lining, right.
And
the rainbow at the end of the,
or the light at the end of the tunnel.
Light at the end of the tunnel, and the rainbow and all that. And the pot of gold.
Which is what I'm looking for. Speaking of which, I'm reading a book about leprechauns.
Oh, neat.
Which might have something to do with this, but because I actually have more time to read.
Oh, that's great.
I'm devoting myself to my interest, which is the environment and nature and the little people.
Yeah, I love that.
Nature spirits and those things that I have an interest in and have a commitment to, actually. So
and I mean, and they say that to some degree that this pandemic is good for introverts, rather than extroverts.
Yeah.
But there are ways for extroverts also to get what they need.
Yeah.
And introverts, or just people of maybe a variety of whatever they are.
Personality types.
Yeah. Can just sort of realize, wait a minute, this is not the end of the world. This is actually a opportunity to, nurture yourself, to learn more, to do more things that you couldn't do before, to focus on your family, to focus on what means the most, not to be materialistic, to learn more ways to be self-sufficient.
Yeah. Which is surprising, because I think at first everybody was in shock and maybe fear-ridden and a little crazy from it, and then over time you start to learn coping strategies, perhaps.
That's it.
Those coping strategies become lifestyle changes or choices that actually become much more productive in the long run.
Well, I can see it like with some of the patients I see, or clients, or however you want to refer to them.
Yeah.
And it's like in the beginning it was like this panic of, oh no, the world's coming to an end, the pandemic, when am I going to get that virus?
Yeah.
Then it becomes, oh, I'm still here, I didn't get the virus, okay, life is good. Well, as long as you're paying your bills, and people around you aren't sick, then it's not that bad.
Right.
And I realize, of course, a lot of people have lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they found some creative ways to get around it.
That is true. I've noticed that too.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So humanity's creativity is like up leveling. It's really having to go up and up and up and up and become more important quality to invoke in these times, instead of just depending on the usual status quo and what's available.
Like my Golden Heart Banquet, which is going to be airing online virtually after 25 years being in person. But it's too big an event to do in person, and it's usually a buffet. So this year I'm very happy with the virtual program I put together. And that's going to be aired on August 1st at 1 o'clock on this channel.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about that, just to tell people what it is. Like, what is the
Golden Heart Banquet started about 25 years ago, and it was an effort to give awards to people in the community, the unsung heroes. And it sort of happened around the time of my birthday. But I was more interested in giving awards out than my birthday in particular, though that's okay. And so over the years, a lot of the politicians supported me, and the community, and now it just sort of keeps going. And, this year we have less than 20 award winners, but they're very interesting individuals who make great contributions. And, it's really a labor of love.
So a lot of these people are not really well known. Right?
Not well known at all.
Yeah, but they're still contributing so much.
Yeah,
to
wonderful people.
society.
Teachers. I've observed many of the people who are getting awards, and there's about 3 posthumous awards that are being given.
Oh, they passed away.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, so C.B. Kimmons, who was a big activist against drugs, and Clifton Lowery, who was the father of Vanessa Brown, the state rep, who was a police officer, but amazing man. And there was one more. It was Reverend Curtis Moore, who was a maintenance man at a nursing home. And he also was a reverend on the side.
Oh my gosh.
And he brought such love to everyone, to the residents, to the staff. I mean, you just saw him and he was like a saint, as they are describing John Lewis today, who I believe is a saint. But the man was a similar idea.
I feel it. When you're talking about him, I can almost feel it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, you can feel it.
I can feel him. Like,
And I mean, he just gave such love that, after he passed, I said to his nieces, I think it was, I'm not sure, or cousins or something, I said, we have to honor him. That is a great man.
Yeah.
And so they're delighted. And people are thanking me for doing this, and I am compelled to do it. Whether anyone participated or not, it would be done.
Yeah.
Because I love to honor people, whether they're alive or whether they passed.
Yeah, I think that's the idea of honoring people seems to be something that we're doing in a way, like honoring the caregivers and the heroes on the
frontliners,
the health community. And so that whole idea of honoring is kind of being brought back into the public idea and public domain, and I think it needs to be expressed in all areas of life too, as well. It's like you're doing, because that seems to make it better for everyone to feel like we're all heroes in a way. We're all
exactly.
We all should be honored for what we're doing and how we're taking care of ourselves and each other, and so it's a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a
and normally, instead of just honoring the nurses, which I think are heroes, I'm honoring the teachers of the nursing staff.
Yeah.
The Roxborough School of Nursing, wonderful instructors. They help make the heroes.
Yeah,
if you don't have them, if that stops, we can't have heroes because nobody's teaching them.
Right.
So that's the other take on it.
Oh yeah. Teachers are important, very
important.
And
should be paid a lot more.
Right, and I think, with the idea of whether kids are going to go back to school or not, I guess the teachers
and parents have such an appreciation of teachers now, and they're struggling. They're working at home, some of them, and they got kids home who are, in cyber school. And,
so they probably appreciate how teachers can handle children and effectively teach them anyway, in spite of all the things they have to do to keep them focused, especially online and all of that. So I guess they're appreciating teachers more and more too. So I think the values maybe of our society will be more towards honoring people who really take care of each other, of children, of people in general, and who are educating us so that we can continue the society in a heroic fashion.
Yeah, and I mean, and the focus of even the drive-through, all the drive-through graduations and birthdays, it's like it's so precious to have that human contact.
Yeah,
that everybody drives by somebody's house.
Yeah,
and it's like I think it's a whole new value system of people are precious. Your family is precious.
Yes.
And, and you can't take it for granted because you can't be around them. So you're going out of your way in a monumental way to be around them.
Yeah. People are precious. That's almost like a line you should put on a T-shirt or something.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it'll be our logo.
Yeah. People are precious. That's our battle cry.
There we go.
People are precious.
We create as we go.
Yeah.
Amy and I have known each other a long time. We have a very flowing conversation.
Yeah.
Which is why we're together here talking to you.
We're kind of winging it. Yeah.
But we also want to know what you're interested in. Like if you want us to do a particular kind of video on any topic, just put it in the comment section and we will come up with it.
Right, because we're still kind of a generalist right now, covering a lot of different topics casually, but there's so many topics we could go into deeply for people's benefits that we're very anxious to do that as well. So, yeah, do put your comments in on the bottom and look forward to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're one of the things we're thinking about in the going green kind of idea, which we both support, especially getting rid of plastic. Is how do you budget your money? And I think you've all seen on YouTube $30 a week challenges, $50 a week challenges. So we may be doing one of those challenges in Amy's kitchen. So stay tuned for future $30 a week challenges, and we're going to show you how we cook the food, buy the food, and come up with a menu for anybody, even on a college budget, to make it in these days and times.
That's a good idea.
We want to give you practical advice.
Yeah, because I could use that too. I really don't have a budget for food too much, and sometimes I do order out as much as I'd like to order, organic, and it's mostly salads, so that's good. But sometimes I really feel, now that I'm having all these vegetables come in, I really need to know what to do with them.
Oh, sure.
And how to create recipes, and
well, we're going to cover some of these things. If you have ideas that you're interested in, we want to give you step-by-step instructions on how to improve your life.
Yeah. Because I think it's all about improving our life right now, even though it looks like our lives may be changing. Some people think for the worse or whatever, but I think it's just changing. Our lives are changing radically. I think there's just a big leap forward into some kind of monumental transformation that may look dire right now, but I think in the long run it's going to recreate the whole world.
Yeah, it does seem like there's a reason for everything.
It does seem like it. So if we can just start out with ways to do that in small ways, I think that would be helpful for everybody out there.
Yeah, and we'll be giving you more meditations to help decrease anxiety and to help you visualize the positive future and have your goals met.
Yeah, that's so important too. So important. So I guess the thing with the environment, I guess, is something I wanted to mention, but also maybe self-care, just some points that I made about self-care that maybe other people also will just consider, like, just simple things like eating more nourishing foods, getting your rest and sleep, getting sunlight and fresh air, because they say that helps with keeping the viruses at bay, and keeping your immune system high. Also, sitting in the sun promotes the vitamin D and also melatonin for the wake sleep cycle, which I know about. Staying calm and centered, which is very important in these days, because you hear a lot on the media that would make you feel really upset. So you have to kind of self-talk yourself into a sense of peace and quiet. So there's affirmations you could listen to, chanting, meditation, prayers, songs, that kind of thing. Listening to I call them high vibration seminars, very inspirational. People like Matt Kahn, or new people like Emmanuel Dogger. These are new names of people I've never heard of, but they're like the younger generation now of inspirational, motivational, spiritual speakers.
Sure, there's a lot out there.
There's a lot out there, folks, and they're all online and they're all doing their thing, which is pretty amazing. I find it pretty amazing.
And I think it's the power of your mind. It's mind over matter is what everything's about, and it's always visualizing what you want to have in your life and feeling like it's going to come.
Yeah. Some people may not know what they want, or we're going to